Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Sayeda Muqaddas. Today I'm here with my team to present the topic which is talent acquisition. So in this video we will cover what is talent acquisition, what are the goals of talent acquisition, the importance of talent acquisition in current market, or you can say that in job market, the benefits of talent acquisition, the challenges of talent acquisition, the 9 steps and strategic metrics of talent acquisition, and the selection process. Let's start with the definition of talent acquisition. What is talent acquisition? Basically, the talent acquisition is the process of identifying, sourcing, attracting, and selecting talent individuals to fill the job vacancies within an organization. It is a strategic function within human resource that focuses on finding the right people with the required skills, knowledge, and experience to meet the current and future needs of the organization. The talent acquisition involves a range of activities including job analysis, talent planning, candidate sourcing, candidate assessment, interviewing, and job boarding. So if we talk about the goals of talent acquisition, basically these are the goals of talent acquisition. The goals of talent acquisition is ensure the organization that the organization has a strong talent pipeline. Which means that it has a continuous supply of high quality candidates who can hire and when it is required. It also helps the organization to meet their business objectives by ensuring that they have a right people in right role. So let's start with the first and one of the most important goal, which is build a strong talent pipeline. The talent acquisition aim is to build a strong pipeline of potential candidates who are interested in working for the organization, even there is no current job opening. The other goal of talent acquisition is to attract and hire the best talent. Talent acquisition aim is to identify and attract top talent that has a required skills, experience, and value to contribute to the organization's success. The third and one of the most important goal of talent acquisition is improve time to fill rate. Talent acquisition aim is to reduce the time to time it to take to fill job vacancies by streaming the recruitment process and using effective source. It also increase the retention rate, which is one of the most important factor. Talent acquisition aim is to hire the right people, for the right role to reduce, turnover rate and improve employee retention. It also enhance employer brand. That means its aim is to promote the organization culture, organization value, and the employee value position to attract the top talent. It also support diversity and inclusion. The talent acquisition aim is to attract and hire candidates from diverse background and promote an individual workplace culture. So if we discuss the importance of talent acquisition in job market, so following are the main importance of talent acquisition in job market. The first and the most important factor is talent acquisition help organization to attract top talent. With a competitive job market, it is challenging for companies to attract the right candidate with the required skills and experience. Talent acquisition professionals use the variety of strategies to attract that talent. The other factor is talent acquisition help organization to build a strong employer brand, which means that a positive employer brand is critical to attract and retaining top talent. Talent acquisition professionals work to build a positive employer brand by promoting the organization culture, value, and employee value proportions. The other factor is talent acquisition help organization to meet their current and future talent needs. By planning and executing talent acquisition strategy, organization can enhance that they have a pipeline of quality of candidates ready to fulfill current future role. And the other factor is talent acquisition help organization to reduce recruitment cost, which is very important factor for any organization. The effective talent acquisition strategies can help organization to reduce recruitment cost by reducing the need of external, recruiting firm, and a decreased time to fill rate. And the last but not the least is factor is a talent acquisition help organization to improve employee retention. So now, if we talk about the benefits of talent acquisition, so following are the main benefits of talent acquisition. So the first and the most important benefit is improved quality of hires, as I already mentioned in my previous, slide, that it is very important for any organization to improve the quality of hires. So a structured talent acquisition process can help an organization to attract and hire individuals who have a process skills or who have a very good experience skills and qualification as per the requirement of the job. It also increases retention by hiring individuals who are a good fit for the organization culture and value. Employee retention rate can improve, leading the reduced turnover and associated cost. It also enhances employer branding, which means a positive and well-established employer brand can attract high-quality candidate and help an organization stand out in the job market. It also improves diversity and inclusion. Also improve productivity and performance. That means by hiring individual who process the necessary skills and experience, organization can improve productivity and overall the performance. And at the last, the challenges of talent acquisition. Following are the main challenges of talent acquisition, which are very important for any organization to tackle. The first and the most important challenge is talent security. If your talent is not secure, it means the whole process through which you are going to hire a one talent for your respective job vacancy is not secure. So the organization can face the challenge due to that. The other challenge is competition with other companies. It is also a most important factor. Nowadays every organization is try to hire a suitable person or highly qualified and highly skilled person for their organization, for the organization purpose and for the organization benefits. To secure your top talent is very challenging nowadays. And the other is challenging job market. So nowadays the job market is very challenging for everyone. So it is also a challenge for organization as well as for the top talent uh, to secure their job or secure their top talent. So now I would like to call Abdul Hai to come and tell us what are the 9 steps.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Mohammad Mudassir Baluch and I would like to explain talent acquisition strategies. Talent acquisition is the process of attracting and recruiting the best talent available to ensure your organization has the right people with the right skills who are in the right job and who are working against the right requirements. An effective talent acquisition strategy aims to ensure that the organization is able to attract and retain high quality candidates who have the skills and experience necessary to meet business goals and drive business success. It also involves developing a positive employer brand and creating a positive candidate experience to attract and retain top talent. So basically, the talent acquisition strategy is a plan or approach used by an organization to identify, attract, and recruit top talent for open positions. It involves a range of activities, including identify, identifying the skills and knowledge required for the roles, sourcing candidates, screening and assessing candidates, and managing the recruitment process from start to finish. An effective talent acquisition strategy aims to ensure that the organization is able to attract and retain high quality candidates who have the skills and experience necessary to meet business goals and drive success. It also involves developing a positive employer brand and creating a positive candidate experience to retain them and to retain the top talent. Further, I would like to describe the talent acquisition strategies which are used a lot, we can say about talent acquisition strategy creation generally. When developing a talent acquisition strategy, it is relevant to determine your dominant strategy. And generally, we see three dominant talent acquisition strategies called make, buy, steal. Make. When make is the dominant talent acquisition strategy, the organization will recruit people who do not have much relevant work experience and put them in an extensive learning and development program. Many organizations like banks, consulting firms, and accountants use this as their dominant strategy and other trainership to recent graduates. By this is used when you're recruiting experienced people. Talent is either working at the competition in a similar job or want to make a career step to more senior job. In order to motivate these candidates to make a move, they need to be tempted. You need to buy them not for the money, but with an attractive employer value proposition. In general, this EVP is a combination of compensation and benefits. Still, this is about taking something that is not yours yet. Stealing human capital is risky business, especially for your reputation, but it is often a very smart way to do this. Ask the hiring manager who is in the world they would like to have on team if they had free choice. The list of candidates of this manager is probably not working for your organization. Even more likely, they are working for the competition. Now it becomes tricky because you would approach or headhunt them yourself. It could be very bad for your reputation and you are risking reprimands. In this case, it is wise to use an external agency, a so-called headhunter, to approach them without using the name of your organization, that your reputation not must get bad in the market. The other strategies which we can use are employer branding, employer referrals, talent communities, job fairs and events, talent analytics, diversity and inclusion. Continuous recruitment are also the strategies commonly used in the organizations. There are six key elements of an effective talent acquisition strategy, which are conduct workforce planning, build your employer brand, source and recruit job candidates, leverage recruiting technology, develop an effective onboarding program, utilize data analytics. So first is conduct workforce planning. Workforce planning involves forecasting the organization's future talent needs and identifying any gap in skills or knowledge. This can help to ensure that recruitment efforts are focused on the areas where the organization's needs the most support. Second one is build your employer brand. A strong employer brand can help to attract and retain top talent. This involves creating a positive candidate experience, showcasing the organization's culture and values, and building relationships with potential candidates. Sourcing, source and recruit job candidates. Effective talent acquisition involves identifying and attracting top talent. This can involve leveraging a variety of recruitment channels such as job boards, social media, employer referrals, and recruitment agencies. Third one is leverage recruiting technology. There are a variety of recruitment technologies available that can help to streamline and automate the recruitment process. This can include applicant tracking systems, candidate relationship management tools, and video interviewing platforms. The fourth one is develop an effective onboarding program. A successful talent acquisition strategy includes an effective onboarding program to help new hires feel welcome and integrated into the organization. This can involve providing training and development opportunities, setting clear expectations, and providing ongoing feedback and support. The last but not the least, which is utilize data analytics. Measuring the effectiveness of recruitment of efforts is essential to identifying areas of improvement and making data-driven decisions. This can involve tracking key recruitment metrics such as time to fill, cost per hire, and quality of hire, as well as analyzing candidate feedback and recruitment data to identify trends and patterns. Thank you so much. That's all from me.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. This is Hamas Naib. So let's talk about the talent acquisition process. Talent acquisition process includes the following stages. Number one, strategy development. Number two, establishing or updating the talent pipeline. Third one is lead generation. And the fourth one is recruiting, then interviewing, reference, evolution, candidate selection, hiring and onboarding. And the last one is succession planning. So, what is strategy? So, let's talk about the talent acquisition strategy development. What is talent acquisition strategy development? Basically, before developing any talent acquisition strategy, one must define the company's position in the market, budget available for the talent acquisition activities, who the competitors are, competitors, labor market behavior, and their funding if available. And there are two types of strategies that go hand in hand. Number one, employer branding strategy, and the other one is talent finding, acquiring strategy. So now let's talk about the establishing talent acquisition. As a talent acquisition strategy depends on talenting the talent pipelines, you need to create a mechanism to keep them full at all times. If your talent flow for every position in your firm is continuous, you will always have someone to pick and choose from should the need rise. Otherwise, you need to discover what makes your pipeline leaky so you do not waste additional resources to fix the damage every time. Now, number third one is lead generation. What is lead generation? Once you have your strategies and talent pool in place, you need to define the online and offline channels you will use to find and generate your leads, like candidates. Next, you need to write an alluring job post, an application from the start filtering and to start filtering out and identifying the best candidate. And lastly, distribute them across defined channels and according to your strategy. Now, number fourth one is recruiting. If your company doesn't have separate recruiting sector, get ready to roll your sleeves. Recruiting is much more than just interviewing the candidates and choosing the right talent. Remember, they are also choosing you. So, apart from standard recruiting and evaluating the application that landed in your inbox, you need to do something extra. Firstly, establish ways to create positive experience for your candidates. Secondly, nurture them throughout the process. Lastly, keep the relationship with those who are not currently your ideal match, but someday they might be. So let's talk about the interviewing. This is where your psychological background and sales skills really shine. When interviewing the candidates, talent acquisition specialists should ask a series of questions related to the candidate's specialty, the problem solving skills, and resourcefulness. And not to forget, they need to figure out if the candidate has skills for any current or future positions. Interviewing is usually held between 2 to 4 instances, depending on the position seniority. Like, however, talent acquisition specialists are trying to shorten the number of instances to provide a pleasurable and experience as possible. And number six one is references. In references evolution, talent acquisition specialists often forget to cross-reference the information their candidates provide during the interview. Reference evaluating can provide another perspective on your candidate, confirm your thoughts and opinions, or provide additional information you wouldn't find anywhere else. So let's talk about the candidate selection. What is candidate selection? There are 7 steps of candidate selection process. Number one, application, then screening and pre-selection, and number three, interview. Fourth one is assessment. Fifth one is references and background check, then decision, and finally, seventh one is job letter and contract. Now let's talk about the hiring and onboarding. So in some companies, talent acquisition teams also onboard new employees. Thus, apart from showing them around the offices or workflow, talent acquisition specialists are responsible for establishing new relationships. And the last one is succession planning. The last activity that talent acquisition specialists need to do is succession planning, a process of identifying and finding substitute candidates for the leadership roles within the company in case something unexpected should happen or in case of retirement. Succession planning is basically it is a beneficial due to several reasons. Firstly, the company is always ready for any unexpected events. Secondly, it encourages employee development within the organization. The last one is succession planning allows filling the roles quickly without losing much of the workflow. That's it. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Sanjana Kumari and today I'm here to present talent acquisition best practices. We all know, as discussed with my previous group members, that talent acquisition is a part of an organization that works hard to get the best talent on board. It's safe to say that every organization aims to get the best talent for their career, for the company's growth and development. To get a job vacancy filled, it's hard to get the best knowledge of what you need, the resources that you require, and the best practices to evaluate the entire process. Talent acquisition, it's very common that people feel and people have an imagination, a thought, a perception that talent acquisition is a part of an HR. Talent acquisition basically itself is an entity that works with HR, that works with recruitment team to get the best talent out of it, to get the best resource for the company. It undergoes, it's basically an entire process that undergoes gathering all the relevant data, evaluating the data, and getting the right candidate for the company. When we talk about the best practices, let's talk about first most thing, that's what you need. Talent acquisition, the department, the team, the resources, the people working under that roof needs to know what they want. They should be very clear, very specific of the requirement, of the right talent requirement. What sort of a person they need, what sort of a skill they need, what sort of qualifications they require in that person, what sort of expertise are required, the job description and the person description should be same. Succession planning is very important. There is no doubt that right person can be there in your job already working under a designation. You need to find out, you need to figure out how you can use that person, how you can gather all the resources to train that person to have the leadership role. There is no doubt that you can acquire the best talent out of what you already have. And it's actually a cost effective and a cost saving procedure too. Rather than getting an entire outsourced person to be a part of your organization, you can get the right talent from your own organization by internal hiring, by internal succession planning, to get the right person at the right time for the right job role. Furthermore, moving towards, it's very important to have a good career path through your website. Your website, your company platform is something that you are known by and you're known for. You need to plan your website. You need to have a platform that is easily navigated. Candidate feedback is a very most important practice that talent acquisition should do. And companies should always look up to candidates and have the information to furthermore improve, to refine, and to polish the process and the needs for future candidates to approach them. Talent acquisition should work to get the best talent on board if not now, then for tomorrow for sure. Talent management is also a very great practice that it needs to do. It's not always just to get the talent on board and it's done. No, it's not like that. Once you get your required talent on board, you have to make them sustain. You have to make them be a part of your organization to the full of their potential. You have to make sure that they are there, they are participating, they have proven to be the right star performer of your organization, and that's very important. I would like to conclude that if talent acquisition focuses on such practices, there is no doubt that it could not only get the best candidate out of their approach and their process, but also it can sustain a good talent for a longer term for an organization. So talent acquisition works under one roof to get the best talent out of the pool. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. So this is Abdul Hai and I'll describe the 9 steps of talent acquisition. But firstly, let's start from the what is talent acquisition. तो पहले इसकी definition हम देख लेते हैं. Talent acquisition is the process of identifying, attracting, selecting and retaining highly qualified individuals. This means that talent acquisition involves a key part of employee journey. अब इसमें 3 चीज़ें और भी आ जाती हैं. इसमें ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल्स में 3 चीज़ें बेस्ट करती है, जिसको हम अपनी लैंग्वेज में आशा भी कहते हैं. Attraction, selection and attrition. To understand talent acquisition, we take a look at ASA theory. What ASA says, the first force is attraction. Job seekers can apply to all possible organizations, but they only go for the ones they want to work for, as these organizations differentiate themselves based on the number of factors. The second force is selection. Once a job seeker applies, it is the organization's responsibility to select and candidates that align with both the role and the organization. This is the person job fit and the person organization fit. और इसमें last आता है the third force, which is attrition. If there is no fit between the person and the job or the organization, the person will quit. Then एक term used होता है talent acquisition versus recruitment. Mostly हम इसको same confusion होता है सबको कि ये दोनों चीज़ें same है, but actually recruitment is a part of talent acquisition. Talent acquisition एक बड़ा image है and recruitment एक छोटा उसका part है. So an often used synonym for talent acquisition is recruitment, strategic recruitment or corporate recruitment. Oftentimes these terms means roughly the same thing and any discussion on differences is mostly semantic. If we had to point out the difference, the biggest difference is that talent acquisition is more strategic process aimed at finding highly qualified employees, whereas recruitment is more operational task of filing vacancies. कि जो एक छोटा सा हमारा एक आ जाता है एक छोटे लेवल पे कि रिक्रूटमेंट का एक जैसे हमने किसी जगह पे किसी छोटी लेवल पे किसी को हायर कर लिया, बट टैलेंट एक्विजिशन इज फॉर बिगर पिक्चर. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द 9 स्टेप्स टैलेंट एक्विजिशन प्रोसेस. इसमें सबसे पहला प्रोसेस आ जाता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल नीड एनालिसिस, दूसरा आ जाता है अप्रूवल ऑफ द जॉब रिक्विजिशन, third one is vacancy intake, fourth one is determining selection criteria and method, fifth one is searching and attraction, sixth one is administrative selection method. Need analysis. The organizational need analysis is the foundation of your recruitment strategy and selection choices. Here you take the organization mission, vision, goals and values and translate them into a number of core competencies and values. Acha, these help to determine the profile that you are looking for and influence your selection criteria to determine the fit between the person and the organization. The second one is approval of the job requisition. This is a starting point of the recruitment process. If there is a need in the organization, a job requisition is a formal procedure to request a hire. The job requisition often comes in the form of documentation. अब इस documentation में क्या क्या चीज़ें mentioned होती हैं कि जब आप जॉब रिक्वेजिशन का अप्रूवल लेने जाते हो तो उसमें कुछ चीज़ें मेंशन करते हैं कि क्या इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें हैं जो कि आप उसमें मेंशन करो. द फर्स्ट वन इज वाई द पोजीशन इज नीडेड. उसकी ज़रूरत क्यों है. वेयर इट इज़ अ न्यू और एग्जिस्टिंग पोजीशन. आइदर इज इट अ न्यू और एग्जिस्टिंग, तो वो उसको डिफाइन करना होता है. डिपार्टमेंट नेम, डिपार्टमेंट रोल, hiring manager, job duties, pay and budget, which is the most crucial part. Start date, whether the assignment is permanent or temporary, contract based पे है या नहीं, whether the position is full time or part time. So ये जब आप चीज़ें सारी मेंशन कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद with this information the job requisition can be formally approved by the direct manager and the relevant director. After that, the third part is vacancy intake. The next step is arguably the most important step in the talent acquisition process, the vacancy intake. In the vacancy intake, the job analysis is conducted in order to collect the relevant information to make a good hire. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर वैकेंसी एक चीज़ की हमारे पास है तो अब हमें उसके लिए बेस्ट जो बंदा हायर करना है वो कौन हो सकता है. तो उसके लिए हमें दो चीज़ें चाहिए होती हैं, जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन JD which is the most important, and person specification. JD include all required skills, competencies and daily activities for the job. The person specification, which is a description of the qualifications, skills, experience and knowledge and other selection criteria for the candidate. Then the fourth step is determining selection criteria and methods. अब कोई एक सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया हम डिस्कस करते हैं कि फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे पास 10 बंदे हैं, अब उनमें से हमें कौन सा बंदा बेस्ट चॉइस क्या होगी, वो हमारा क्राइटेरिया क्या होगा, वो हम सिलेक्ट करते हैं. So based on the vacancy intake, the selection criteria and method are determined. There are many possible selection methods, including a general mental ability test, work sample, structured or unstructured interviews. So इन चीज़ों के बेसिस पे हम अपनी सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया सेट करते हैं कि हमें कौन सी पोजीशन. evaluation. The final stage of the talent acquisition process is the evaluation. Here the candidate is asked if the job and organization match their expectations. This offers a great opportunity to check back in with the candidate. Mismatched expectations should be addressed both with the candidate and also when it happens more in the structured way. It could be that communication is unclear or things are promised, recruiters, state managers are unaware. So sometimes ये होता है evaluation based में कि कैंडिडेट कुछ और एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा होता है, जो चीज़ें उसको नहीं बताई जाती, या जो जिनके साथ इंटरव्यू होता है वो कुछ और चीज़ बता रहे होते हैं, लाइन मैनेजर के साथ कुछ वो चीज़ें जो है वो मिसमैच कर रही होती हैं. सो एवेल्युएशन के टाइम पे ये सब चीज़ें जो है वो डिस्कस हो रही होती हैं और उसके बाद उसको एवेल्युएट किया जाता है कि आइदर दिस कैंडिडेट इज बेस्ट फॉर दिस जॉब और नॉट. So these 9 steps of talent acquisition has every organization कि वो अपने positions के लिए वो अपने crucial जो positions हैं, जो critical roles हैं, उनके लिए best को apply कर सके with the help of these 9 steps. Further will be discussed regarding stages and process from my group members. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ramsha Zafar and today I'm going to talk about on the topic talent acquisition. The part that I have selected is selection process. Now, what is selection process? It is, or the goal of recruitment and selection process in an organization is to find and hire the best possible candidate for the job. The process has a funnel structure. Suppose there are 40 to 50 candidates or applicants for that job that has applied. Now you have to screen out and you have to select 5 to 10 people for the interview, and only one person gets the job. Now, the funnel structure consists of 7 stages. I'm quickly going to go through the names of the stages and then we're going to go over each stage. Number 1 is applications. Number 2, screening. Number 3, interview. Number 4, assessment. Number 5, reference and background check. Number 6, decisions. Number 7, job contract or job offer or contract. So now let's dive into each stage. Number 1 is applications. Here you create a job advertisement, you double check the errors and proofread it before posting the job ad. Now after posting the job ad, it is ready for the applicants to apply. Now the channels and tools that you have or should use for the job. Now where to post the job ad really matters. So the channels that you can go for is online job boards such as LinkedIn and Facebook. You can post the ad on your website, company website. Then you can contact the recruitment agencies, you can contact the universities and college career department, and the word of mouth plays a great role in that as well. Now we're going to move forward to the second stage, that is screening. Here you have pool of candidates. You can say there are many applicants. Now you have to screen out, you have to select few candidates that can go further. Suppose there are 400 applicants. Now you have to select few candidates or applicants for the next step, that is interview. As in, like, for a single person, it is very hard to recruit or screen the resumes alone. Suppose 400, we're gonna go through the same example as 400 applications. Now the person can obviously, once you have set the criteria that there is a 5 years or 7 years of experience required, now the person can recruit and see that, screen that, if the person that applied is a college student or graduate student, so he has no experience, so you can easily rule that one out. But for most applications, it is very tough to go one by one and read each and every sentence or go find or screen out as per the requirements. So for that you can take help from the artificial intelligence. You can tell or set the criteria that these are the requirements, and it will help you screen out the resumes and it will be easier for you. Now we're going to go through the third step, that is interview. So basically there are two types of interviews. Number 1 is unstructured and number 2 is structured. So the unstructured interviews basically are for the higher post and for like CEO or like that. Usually organizations go through the structured interviews, that is obviously you ask questions for the candidate from the candidate, and that's how it's done. There are a few criteria set for the questions as well, that these are the questions that you have to ask and look for, and these are the requirements that we're looking for. Alright, so you ask the questions, you assess the person's personality, the way of thinking, how is he capable to deal with the tough situations, how is he a team player, or can say people management or team management can say that if we give the position of a leader, suppose, then how is he able to manage the team properly, like that. जैसे आप इंटरव्यू करें तो आप इंटरव्यू पे हम भी चाहते हैं, आपने भी आई एम श्योर दिए होंगे इंटरव्यू काफ़ी, तो यू गाइस हैव एन आइडिया ऑफ दैट कि किस तरह इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट होते हैं और क्या होता है क्या नहीं होता. वो पूछते हैं आपके बारे में, आपकी पर्सनैलिटी के बारे में, आपकी हॉबीज़ एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ टू असेस योर पर्सनैलिटी एज वेल द वे ऑफ योर थिंकिंग. Alright, how you think, how you handle situations, are you capable enough to take the pressure, etc. Now come to the fourth stage, that is assessment. Here obviously the people that have no work experience, can say college graduate, people usually take assessment test for that, personality test, IQ test, these kind of tests are taken for those candidates who have no work life or life experience like that, right, for the particular job. So you can say GMA test is taken for those people, personality test, these type of tests are taken in an organization for that particular candidate. Now comes the fifth part, that is reference and background check. Basically, the companies that required reference or background check are if a person is applying at a bank for a job at a bank. Now they require the background check because then there is a confidential information. For that they really need that if there is no criminal record for that person, or if he's a tax filer or non-filer. These kind of requirements are for banks and type of places where there is confidential information involved. And reference and background check also, the organization do that as well. Obviously they don't want and to get any trouble with that person. So जब हम एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से दूसरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में स्विच करते हैं, हम देखते हैं उस बंदे का बैकग्राउंड, उस बंदे की रेफरेंस ऑब्वियसली हम प्रेफर करते हैं। हम जब हम इंटरव्यू करते हैं इस तरह से, तो हम उसके घर के बारे में भी पूछते हैं कि व्हाट इज़ योर फादर्स ऑक्यूपेशन, व्हाट इज़ योर ब्रदर ऑक्यूपेशन, मतलब आपके घर वाले क्या करते हैं, क्या नहीं करते, आप कहाँ रहते हैं। तो दैट ऑल्सो टेल्स अ लॉट अबाउट अ पर्सन। ठीक है, उसके बाद आप रेफरेंस की बात करते हैं, तो जब हम एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से स्विच करते हैं तो फिर आप उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से भी पता करते हैं उस बंदे के बारे में कि हाउ इज़ ही एट वर्क, how is he how he behaves with the subordinate, and how matlab you like to find out about that person, that how he works, is he good at work, and with the team members and everyone, how the person behaves and everything like that stuff. You check that before you go further with the process. That is how the reference and background check works. Then comes the sixth part, that is decision. Now it is the time that you decide that these persons are right for the job, and all the criteria has been met by this person, and he is perfect and he is best for at his job, and this person will add value to our organization, and it will be beneficial for the growth of our organization as well, and this person is committed, dedicated to the work, and he has a capability of learning. These kind of things involves in taking the decision as well. And mostly समटाइम्स जब आप देखते हैं इंटरव्यू लेते हुए, आप एक पर्सन की लर्निंग कैपेबिलिटी देखते हैं, फिर इसमें कभी कभार डिसीजन लेते हुए ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस उसकी एक्सपीरियंस को नहीं देखती हैं, उसकी फिर वो लर्निंग कैपेबिलिटी को देखती हैं और देखती हैं कि ये हमारे साथ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम रह सकता है, तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टेक्स डिसीजन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट एज वेल. नाउ कम्स द जॉब ऑफर एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. So this is not the last step, or can say this is not the last or final step, but इसमें क्या होता है, इसमें आप ऑफर मेड करते हैं कि भाई यू हैव बीन सेलेक्टेड, यू हैव मेट ऑल द क्राइटेरिया, एंड वी वुड लाइक टू welcome you and congratulate you that you are hired and you are perfect for this job and you're gonna add value to organization. So then the offer contract has been made, and when both parties, the employment contract is signed by the both parties, then the process is complete, and then the person is hired. So that is how the selection process works, and how organizations or companies hire people, and they set the criteria, and this process has been made by the organization, and that is it. Thank you.
Talent acquisition metrics. Talent acquisition metrics are key performance indicators used to track and measure the effectiveness of the organization recruitment cycle. There are some talent acquisition. There are some talent acquisition metrics are time to fill, time to process step, quality of hiring, cost per hiring, and offer acceptance rate. Time to fill. Time to fill is a matrix in which you can elaborate how much time a company is conducted to fill that position. मतलब एक पोजीशन को फिल करने के लिए कितना टाइम लगता है, वो उसको कहते हैं टाइम टू फिल. The length of time to fill it takes to fill the vacant position in your company, covering a time a candidate is identified. कितना टाइम कैंडिडेट ने आइडेंटिफाई किया, कितना टाइम कंपनी ने लगाया कि कि उसकी वेकेंट पोजीशन पे जो कैंडिडेट सुटेबल कैंडिडेट है उसको लाने में। दिस रेफर टू द नंबर ऑफ कैलेंडर डेज इट टेक्स टू फाइंड एंड हायर अ न्यू कैंडिडेट, often measured by the number of days between approving a job recruiter recruition and the candidate accepting your offer. Several factors can influence the time to fill, such as supply and demand ratio for specific job, as well as the speed at which the recruitment department operates. It's great. It's great metrics for business planning and offer relative views for the manager to access the time it will take to attract and hire the replacement of the departmenting employees. टाइम टू फिल वही होता है कि एक बंदा अगर कोई छोड़ के चला गया या छोड़ के जा रहा है, तो उसकी जगह पे कितना टाइम लग रहा है कंपनी को कि उसकी जगह दूसरा बंदा ढूंढने में और उसकी जगह दूसरा बंदा रखने में। तो उसको कहते हैं टाइम टू फिल। और कितना टाइम लगता है कि एक बंदे की जगह दूसरा बंदा रिप्लेस होने में कितना टाइम लग रहा है एक कंपनी को। टाइम टू प्रोसेस स्टेप, the time to process step is the amount of time a candidate spends in each hiring process step. This process can include interview, phone screening, submission of required information to to the hiring manager, completing sorry completing assessment completely assessment, etc. It is therefore important to give time in process a step enough diligence and evaluate the different steps of your organization hiring process. By tracking the time in process step, your team can identify bottlenecks in the recruitment process. Ultimately, this will help organization understand if certain steps in your hiring cycle delay your organization staffing needs. टाइम टू प्रोसेस स्टेप यही होता है कि आपको कितना ज्यादा टाइम लगता है और कहाँ आपको टाइम लग रहा है एक जॉब को प्रोसेस करने में या एक हायरिंग को प्रोसेस करने में कहाँ आपको टाइम लग रहा है। एक बंदे का इंटरव्यू के बाद फोन स्क्रीनिंग, सबमिशन ऑफ रिक्वायर्ड इंफॉर्मेशन टू द हायरिंग मैनेजर और बाकी सारी इसकी असेसमेंट करने के बाद उसको आपको इतना टाइम आपकी कंपनी को या आपकी हायरिंग डिपार्टमेंट को या आपके एचआर डिपार्टमेंट को इतना क्यों लगता है और कहाँ पे आपका जो है आप लैग कर रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से आप एक स्टाफिंग नीड आपकी जो एक एम्प्लॉय की नीड है उसमें आप इतना टाइम लगा रहे हैं। नेक्स्ट, quality to hire often measured by someone performance rating gives an indicator to first year performance of a candidate. Candidates who receive high performance rating are indicative of hiring success, while the opposite hold true for candidates with low performance rating. Quality of hiring is the input of the success ratio. The success ratio divides the number of hiring who perform well by the total number of candidates hired. A high success ratio means the most of the hired candidates perform well. However, low rate means that you need to fine tune your selection process. Success ratio has a formula to find there is a formula to find success ratio. Success ratio is equal to number of hired candidate considered satisfactory divided by number of candidate hired. मतलब नंबर क्वालिटी टू हायर मतलब ये कि कितनी क्वालिटी का बंदा आपने रखा है, कोई अच्छा बंदा रखा है या बुरा बंदा रखा है। ये आप मेजर करने के लिए क्वालिटी टू हायर आप सक्सेस रेशियो मेजर करते हैं, उसकी 1 साल की परफॉर्मेंस, उसकी 2 साल की परफॉर्मेंस, वो देख के आप उसकी सक्सेस रेशियो निकालते हैं। सक्सेस रेशियो निकालने के बाद आपको पता चलता है कि वो बंदा क्या क्वालिटी का बंदा है, या मतलब किसी काम का भी बंदा है कि नहीं है, वरना या ऐसे ही है, ऐसे ही हमने हायर कर लिया, कोई लल्लू पंजू है या कोई अजीब सा आदमी है। ठीक है। हाई सक्सेस रेशियो मीन मोस्ट ऑफ द हायर्ड कैंडिडेट परफॉर्मेंस। ज्यादा सक्सेस रेशियो अगर है तो उसका मतलब है कि आपने जितने भी ज्यादातर एम्प्लॉयज ऐसे हायर किए हैं जिन्होंने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है। बट लो सक्सेस रेशियो मीन यू नीड टू फाइन ट्यून योर सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस। आपको अपने सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस को फाइन ट्यून करना पड़ेगा, उसको बेहतरीन करना पड़ेगा, ताकि जो है आप उस सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया को मैच कर सकें और सक्सेस रेशियो आप अपनी कंपनी का मीट कर सकें। ठीक है। ये नीचे एक फॉर्मूला दिया हुआ है, नंबर ऑफ हायर्ड कैंडिडेट्स कंसिडर्ड सेटिस्फैक्ट्री और टोटल नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स हायर। मतलब सेटिस्फैक्ट्री कैंडिडेट्स जितने कैंडिडेट्स हायर हुए सेटिस्फैक्ट्री थे, और डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स हायर। नेक्स्ट, कॉस्ट पर हायरिंग। कॉस्ट पर हायरिंग takes into consideration different expenses that are involved in talent acquisition, include travel cost, sourcing cost, relocation cost, agency fees. A company cost for hiring can be determined by adding each of the cost and dividing by the total new hiring of for the year. As expected, the longer it takes to find the right talent, the more resources and money that are spent. For this reason, cost per hiring and time to fill are closely correlated. Cost per hiring is equal to total recruitment cost divided by total number of hiring. Total recruitment cost divided by total number of hiring. Total internal cost plus total external cost divided by total number of hiring. Total recruitment cost meet internal cost plus external cost, दोनों को प्लस करेंगे तो रिक्रूटमेंट कॉस्ट बनती है। कॉस्ट पर हायरिंग ये होती है कि आपको एक बंदा रखने के लिए कितना खर्चा हो। एक बंदा अगर मैंने एक्स वाई जेड को हायर किया है, तो उसको हायर करने में मेरा क्या क्या एक्सपेंस लगा, मेरी ट्रेवल कॉस्ट क्या लगी, मेरी सोर्सिंग कॉस्ट क्या लगी, मेरी रीलोकेशन कॉस्ट क्या लगी, या मैंने अगर किसी एजेंसी को दिया है उसको हायर करने के लिए, या मैंने किसी एजेंसी को बोला है कि मुझे बंदा हायर करके दो या मुझे बंदा ढूंढ के दो, तो उसकी उसने क्या फीस ली। सही है। इन सब हायर कॉस्ट को प्लस करेंगे तो रिक्रूटमेंट कॉस्ट बनेगी। जब रिक्रूटमेंट कॉस्ट आ जाएगी तो आप उसमें उसको डिवाइड कर देंगे, टोटल नंबर ऑफ हायरिंग आपने कितनी करी है, तो उससे आप डिवाइड कर लेंगे तो आपकी आ जाएगी कॉस्ट पर आएंगे। और कॉस्ट पर हायरिंग आपकी कम होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि हर कंपनी में जितनी कम कॉस्ट लगेगी उतना कंपनी को एक तो प्रॉफिट उतना ज्यादा इंक्रीज होगा, प्रॉफिट बचा रहेगा, रेवेन्यू प्रॉफिट आपका कम खर्च होगा, मतलब आपका रेवेन्यू कम, एक्सपेंस कम होगा। और जब कंपनी का एक्सपेंस कम होगा तो प्रॉफिट ज्यादा होगा। तो इसलिए कंपनीज को कम कॉस्ट में बंदे हायर कम कॉस्ट लगानी चाहिए ताकि बंदे हायर इजीली हो सके। नेक्स्ट, offer acceptance rate. The offer acceptance rate compare the number of candidates who successfully accept the job offer with the number of candidates who receive an offer. देखिए, ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस रेट ये होता है कि एक हमने जॉब जॉब के लिए इंटरव्यू किया, सब कुछ किया, एंड में मतलब इंटरव्यू के एंड में हमने जो है उसको ऑफर। हर कंपनी ने अपनी ऑफर करते हैं, हर कंपनी अपनी ऑफर करती है एक बंदे को रखने के लिए। तो हमने जो ऑफर करी उसको जो एम्प्लॉय हम हायर कर रहे हैं, तो उसने वो एक्सेप्ट करा या नहीं करा, उसको कहते हैं ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस रेट। अब इसकी जो फॉर्मूला भी दिया हुआ है और भी बहुत सी चीजें हैं, वो देखते हैं। ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस रेट कंपेयर द नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स हु सक्सेसफुली एक्सेप्ट अ जॉब ऑफर्ड इन विद द नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट हु रिसीव अ ऑफर। तो ये नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट जिसने सक्सेसफुली एक्सेप्ट किए जॉब को, और नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट हु रिसीव एन ऑफर। लो रेट इज identicative of potential compensation problems. अगर आपकी कंपनी में कंपनसेशन कम है, प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, तो रो रेट आपकी आएगी. व्हेन दीज प्रॉब्लम्स अकर ऑफर ऑफन फॉर सर्टेन फंक्शंस, the pay can be discussed earlier in the recruitment process. In an in an in an offer to minimize the impact of an refused job offer. An example is by listing pay in a job opening or ask. अच्छा, ये ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस रेट को हम इसका मिनिमाइज कर सकते हैं कि अगर हम जब भी जॉब ओपनिंग डालते हैं, जॉब लिस्टिंग डालते हैं, तो उसमें अगर हम सैलरी पैकेज या सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशंस डाल दें ना, तो वो हमारे लिए ज़्यादा इजी हो जाता है. तो फिर हम ऑफर सैलरी 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 हम क्या देंगे या सैलरी हम क्या रखेंगे या सैलरी पैकेज क्या होगा, तो वो फिर बंदे के लिए ज़्यादा इजी हो जाता है. क्योंकि अगर वो उस सैलरी पैकेज पे वो आएगा, तो मतलब इंटरव्यू के लिए आएगा, तो मतलब उसने सैलरी पैकेज उसको पता होगा ना पहले. अगर उसको नहीं पता होगा और कंपनी की तरफ से उसको ऑफर आएगी और वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा, तो आपकी ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस रेट लो हो जाएगी. ठीक है जी. ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस रेट का फॉर्मूला भी है नंबर ऑफ ऑफर एक्सेप्टेड और डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ ऑफर मेड. मतलब कितनी हमारी ऑफर एक्सेप्ट हो गई डिवाइडेड बाय कितनी ऑफर हमने की थी लोगों को, या कितनी ऑफर भी है. थैंक यू सर.